Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Today we continue with the World Touring Car 800 races that we've been doing recently. There are so many of these, there might be another video of them, or two, after this. But anyway, let's focus on this one. We get going for the first race of the episode. We are at Autodromo Lago Maggiore full course. Quite a tricky circuit, especially these first few corners. I don't think I've ever gotten these right in any lap I've done of this track. But there is a good corner later on in the lap, but we'll get to that. But anyway, on to the race then, and we've already gotten started to make up a few positions, up 2 positions into P18 now as we get past the Ford, and we give a little nudge there to the Alfa Romeo. We'll get through on the inside, a little bit of biff and barge there as we head directly into the sun. But now we will continue to make one more position up into P16. It is quite a lengthy race, this one, 10 laps of this circuit, so it will go on for a while. We've got the game set to the easy difficulty for the time being. I'm starting to think that it may be a little too easy. Maybe I should have put it on normal for this race, but anyway, we'll see how it all goes. I wasn't confident in how the car would go around this circuit because there are quite a few corners around the back section and at the start of the lap too, so yeah, I didn't know if this car would be the best. We're using the Toyota Supra GT500 from 97 as usual for these races, and so far it is actually handling this track very well, so yeah, that was just a misjudgment. So this race might come a little easier, assuming we don't make any mistakes and there's no external factors interfere. But anyway, we've on the first lap moved ourselves up into P11, a bit of a gap to the car in front. We'll be able to close that up though along the main straight, where you know, the strengths of this car really can shine. We're in fuel map 6 at the moment, to try and conserve fuel as much as possible. The fuel rate seems very high in this race, so we're going to need to be map 6 the whole time, just to make sure we can get this done with a one stop, as we continue to make places up into the top 10 now. And we've got in front of us now a BMW M3, so let's see if we can get past them, and well, we do that by the time I've even finished that sentence. So yeah, this has been a strong start to the race for us, as we now set our sights to go deeper into the top 10, and I mean, we can just make moves anywhere. There is a straight really around this circuit. This car's also pretty good on the brakes, so despite the fact we are missing a little bit of corner speed versus some of these other GT3 cars and Group 3 cars, we're still pretty solid around the whole circuit. So we continue to push on, and we'll make the move around the outside along the straight as we head towards one of the most satisfying corners in the game. I really do like this corner, the way it just dips down, and you can, despite the fact you're going downhill, you can still brake very late. The corner's not as sharp as it seems as you're coming towards it, and you know, you can really make the most of the track width, and it's a very fun corner. But anyway, we continue moving forwards all the way up into P5 now, with the progress we've made on this lap, so it won't be too long before we are knocking on the door of a podium. Let's see if we can do that soon. Right now, 4th place is getting closer and closer, and we're going to make that move on the exit of the final corner and up into P4. Moving on a lap later, we do eventually catch the top 3. There was a bit of a margin to close in, but through the final corner we'll try and carry as much speed as we can through there, and we're going to get 1, maybe 2 places along the straight. We're going to go super late on the brakes down the inside of the Viper, and make that all 3 places gained from 4th to 1st through the length of the main straight. So that's worked out well for us, that sequence, and with that move we are up into the race lead, and with that move we might just be losing it again, as we go clumsily off the road multiple times through that section. I'm not sure what happened there, but anyway, we'll have a little drag race with the Viper briefly. It can match this car for straight line speed, I think, the Viper, or at least get closer to than most of the others. But ultimately, we are able to hold on. We are in a low fuel map, but maybe they are too, to try and extend the stints as much as possible. Not sure if any of the others will need to do 2 stops. Looking at the numbers, we should just about be able to get to the end of lap 5 with just enough fuel left. But yeah, we're really struggling at the moment to keep the car on the road. But as we continue on, we should be able to get back into a rhythm and push on until our pit stop window. And so that is exactly what we do as we once again come towards the final corner on lap number 5, halfway through the race. And we have managed to fuel perfectly. We have, I think, 0.3 laps of fuel left. So that has worked out well for us, as we will get a new set of the hard compound tyres on. As you can see, the ones we have are a little worse for wear, especially the fronts around this circuit. So we will refuel basically to the top, and that will get us to the end of the race. So we await for that to happen. We actually cut that off very fine there, so hopefully we'll have enough. And yeah, that should be fine. We still hold the race lead, so everyone else is coming in behind us. Well, not quite everyone. A few pushing on for another lap. But, well, that is the Viper retaking second position. Perhaps they stopped a lap earlier, which means they may be in for a 2-stop if you can't make the 5 laps. But, again, engine maps, etc. can have a bearing on all that. But, regardless, it doesn't really matter to us. We didn't really see another car for the whole race. And, yeah, the second half of this race was just a time trial as we come towards the finish line. That is race victory. And, that is the first one ticked off for this one. We'll definitely be upping the difficulty for the next one to at least normal. But that's a race ticked off, which is basically what I'm trying to get done here. We move on now to Suzuka Circuit. And this one, it definitely won't be a track that favours our car in terms of the whole S section. The Degners, that's not going to suit us, but there are a few long straights as well. The run towards 130R and the main straight as well is reasonably long, so who knows, it could be a bit of a 50-50 one. But we've upped the difficulty to normal for this one as we get underway for the race at Suzuka, the World Touring Car 800, and we've immediately made a bit of a mess of the first corner as we try and chase down the Porsche. Not much we can do there. And I mean, you can see already the difference that upping the difficulty has made. On the easy difficulty would probably be passed by now, but anyway, we escort the Porsche a little bit wide there, but no worries, we're through and up into P19. This is going to take a bit longer to get through the field in this one. We've got the Ford in front of us now, and I've just driven into the wall. Brilliant driving as we get ourselves going again. There is, I think, mechanical damage in this race, so a little rush like that won't be too bad, but we don't want to be absolutely slamming into the wall at high speed, as we have also made our way past the Ford and up into P18. Next up, we have the Alfa Romeo once again, so it would seem that the starting grid is the same for all of these races. I did note that, or I did pick up on that earlier. But anyway, we continue to work our way now through Spoon, and I mean, yeah, you can see the difference. Running easy difficulty back at Sardinia, and then the normal difficulty here. We were knocking on the door of the top 10 by the end of the first lap. Now we have only overtaken 4 cars as we make one more move into 130R, and we managed to keep it on the road there. It's not a flat out corner in this car. Easy mistake to make after playing the F1 games and just going absolutely flat out through there like it doesn't even exist. But in a Group 3 machine, it's a much trickier section that you do have to apply the correct amount of brakes for. That is my phone going off, but we're not going to worry about that for now because we are starting to catch up to the next couple of cars. Quite a group up here of about 4 cars, so let's see if we can make our way through this lot as we just try and get the lines right through the first sector. That's really all we can do, and we are gaining time as these two are flopping all over the place in front of us, and we'll get down the inside a little bit close there, but we get through. Good racing, and that is up another position into P15 as we now close in, or a bit of contact there as they are very slow into the first Degner, but that's job done, up another position, and now we can shift our attention to the Corvette in front of us as we're a bit wide and late on the brakes there into the hairpin, and we barge into the Corvette after shortcutting that corner a bit, so let's not talk about that and continue pushing on through the right-hander towards Spoon, drifting wide there for us though into the wall, and we do get going again, but that's going to cost us a bunch of time when the Corvette gets back through. So now we have the work to do once again as we just sneak to the inside, and that is a nice little switch back there on the Corvette, and we've moved ourselves back up into P13. We've lost a fair bit of time to the cars in front. We move on and do make up that time as we head towards the hairpin again, not making the same mistake, and this time trying to set up a good exit as we try and get underneath the Mazda there. You can hear it screaming a mile away, that car, as we just take this right-hander a little bit more cautiously this time and wait for the opportunity. Not at Spoon, can't quite get the car in there, so we'll just use our straight line speed along the back straight, and that should be what gets us ahead of the, maybe even both of these cars in front of us if we can, but we'll just focus on one at a time at the moment, around the outside of the Corvette and also around the outside of the BMW. And that I just called that car the Corvette, didn't I? That's an RX Vision, that is called. But anyway, oh goodness me, what's going on? Anyway, these two are running side by side in front of us. We're going to take advantage of that, get a nice exit. Can't quite get past the other BMW in this race, so we're stuck behind for a little bit longer. We now look to the inside of turn 1, more side by side running in front of us as there's a fair bit of squabbling away. The Audi not quite able to get through, and we lunge down the inside there, bit of contact, and we do make the move on the Audi, and next up is our fellow Supra. Is he going to let us through easily? We get a nice little switch there, but we can't get through still, and now we will try and barge our way through. It didn't really work for us, and we are really getting held up here, but we will eventually get through. We slam the door shut into Dunlop, and that is a job done, up another position into 7th place now. So we're starting to make some good progress, starting to get into the rhythm, and now in front of us is the Aston Martin V12. That's one of the awesome things about Group 3 racing. Everyone has their own way of building the cars, building the engines, front engine, mid engine, rear engine, V8s, V12s, V6s, there's a bit of everything. But anyway, we have the Aston Martin with their fairly unique V12 format in terms of real life GT3 racing, and we'll see if we can make the move on the back straight. We actually have a whole conga line of cars in front of us, so we may be able to grab a couple of them by the time we get down to turn 1, but for now we'll focus on the run towards 130R around the outside of the Aston Martin, and that's one move done, as we also get around the outside of another Supra, and bit of contact there as we plow into the back of the Subaru, not able to make that move, but surely along the straight will be our opportunity as we put the power down. You'll notice I haven't mentioned it yet, but we are in map 6 for this race once again, trying to stretch the stint as long as possible, and we get down the inside of the Subaru, and that's another move done, and we're all the way up now into 4th position, so we are knocking on the door of the podium. The next target is the Nissan GTR, who himself seems to be catching the Mercedes in 2nd place, so we're all closing in. The race leader though nowhere in sight. The Dodge Viper is running a pretty strong race so far, and they are escaping up the road, so we need to try our best to catch up to them, but for now once again we'll just focus on what is right in front of us, and the GTR getting very close to the Mercedes. We're struggling to keep up now through the first sector. I think our tyre wear may be a bit higher, but either way we'll make the move down the inside, and that is job done on the GTR. Next up the Mercedes, and this should be an easy move once we get onto the back straight, unless we can do it earlier. We're not close enough there. Once again we just can't seem to keep up through the sort of first to middle sector, and we really do need to rely on the straights now to bring us some lap time, but even on the straights we're not really gaining too much. Maybe everyone else turning their fuel mixes up as we get closer to the pit stop window, and well, actually we're going to be probably in this lap now that I mention it, so there is that to watch out for as well. And also I don't know if it can rain at this circuit, but sky is certainly getting dark, so we have a lot to watch out for in this race at the moment, but for now we are closing in to the Mercedes, and we can't quite get the move done, and well, okay, goodness me, that is a corner cut and a half for the Mercedes there, but we're not going to worry too much because we're actually going to box this lap if we can just get it into the pit lane, and we'll go on to a new set of the hard compound tyres, once again using a lot of the available fuel throughout that stint. 0.7 of a lap left, so we couldn't really stretch that any longer, but regardless we should be able to refuel to the end from here, and we'll still have to run map 6 all the way to make it, but we can do a slightly short fill, maybe save a second or so in the pit lane, and we see short field on the short fill, so hopefully once again we don't run out. Maybe I'll need to do a little bit of the old lift and coast. We've dropped ourselves into P13 with that pit stop, so you know, with everyone else going a bit longer we may get a little bit caught up in traffic, but that said we do also have a fresh set of tyres, so it shouldn't be too difficult to make our way through. We shouldn't lose too much time, hopefully. That is indeed the theory, but for now let's see if we can close in to the group ahead as we head through Dunlop, and they're going to be watching each other a little bit, those two, and they're looking for a move into Degner 1. That's not a conventional passing opportunity, especially for the AI, but we're not quite able to make the move on the outside. Couldn't quite capitalize on that little half move that they made, so now we are stuck behind for longer and longer as we just cannot find a way through here. This is burning a lot of time for us, and you know, of course this is the race for us relevant to, or relative to, the leaders who are probably going faster than this lot. But anyway, we've made the move up into P12 finally, and P11 will come very shortly. As soon as we get onto the straight we should be able to just blow straight past, and we're even taking a slightly narrower exit. Into the slipstream we go, and we make a move on the right, and that's us up now into P11. Other drivers into the pits, including the drivers currently 2nd and 3rd. The GTR assumes the race lead, so the GTR very good fuel economy, and they're able to stretch the stint even longer. But for us though, that will be you know, this will be a good measurement to see if we did lose time throughout that lap. For the moment we've moved ourselves up into 4th position, and we may end up ahead of the GTR, depends. They'll have a shorter pit stop, so they'll gain some time there by being able to run so long in this first stint. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But for now, where we have lost time, because remember we were up into 2nd place before the pits, so, or 3rd place rather. We're fighting away for 2nd, so you know, we have lost out a little bit through that phase, unless there are others who are yet to stop. We have the Mercedes in front of us now, who, as I mentioned, had a shorter stop. Being able to run 1 lap longer means you spend, you know, a few seconds less in the pit lane. But anyway, we've managed to catch up to them without too much trouble, and we make our move around the outside, and that is job done, and up into P3 now. So we've still got the Viper in front of us. We haven't caught up to them yet, and then the GTR. It'll be interesting to see where the GTR feeds back into this race, but for now we just need to push as hard as we can. Oh, and another development just to further complexify this race, the rain has started falling. You can see in the bottom left the indicator next to the total race timer. That shows how wet the track is. Never knew that until recently, but yes, the track is slightly damp. Not enough to go onto the intermediate tyres, but it is something we will probably notice. The GTR has made its way into pit lane, now coming out. We're running side by side into turn 1, bit of contact, and we're going to make the move stick all the way around the outside. If we can just keep it on the road, drifting wide there though, the GTR holds on to the position, and we drop into 3rd. So you know, that shows the advantage of short fueling, the way the GTR did. Well, not even short fueling, just having better fuel economy like the GTR does. It's been able to jump us in the pit lane, and we had, you know, some clean air for a while there, so we weren't being held up for all of that time. It's also jumped the Mercedes as well, so the GTR very good on fuel, and it pays off for them. We make our move down the inside of Degner 1, who said it was a bad opportunity to overtake. Well, apparently we've made a mess of Degner 2, and we lose that spot once again. So yeah, potentially the slightly slippery conditions starting to have an effect on our driving, but yeah, we also just need to you know, minimize these mistakes a bit better. So we'll go again, we'll try and catch up to the GTR, and eventually the Viper, who is still out in front. But yeah, this has been a really fast-paced race so far. We've got the difficulty right this time, and now out of Spoon, we'll see if we can get the run on the GTR in the slipstream as we head towards 130R, and the sun's out again, so the track will start to dry. It was only a very brief shower, but you know, those little things that can impact the end result. As we make the move on the GTR up into 2nd place. We move on then to the final lap of the race, and you can see we have the Viper in sight as we round the first corner and now head into the S's. It's pretty much the first time we've even seen the Viper. It's been a dominant performance by the Chilean driver at the wheel of the Viper, but we'll see if we can make our way through. We're pushing through the first or through the S's, the first sector, and we will make that move on the Viper up into the race lead. So now all we need to do is bring it home through the rest of the lap, and we should be good to go. So yeah, just no mistakes, and we will be absolutely fine. Although okay, well, no mistakes went out the window, and now we have all the work to do again as the Viper gets back through. And I mean, it was only a matter of time. Never underestimate my ability to screw things up as we head into the hairpin, and we've actually lost a fair bit of time to the Viper through that mistake at the 2nd Degner. So yeah, let's see if we can make it back. We've pretty much only got our straight line speed to rely on. We've upped the fuel mix now into mix 4 to see if we can gain a little bit more performance as we head towards the finish line, because we're probably going to need it as we try and line up a good exit and power down onto the straight. and now into the slipstream of the Viper. Let's see if we can do this as we build the speed and build the speed further and further as we now head down the inside into 130. We'll get the move done again, and if we can get through the last few corners without any trouble, we'll win this last lap battle with the Viper, who has led the entire race up until this point. But that is the move on the final lap to take the race lead and to take the race victory as we come around the final corner across the line. That is first place at Suzuka, and that was a much harder fought race than the previous one, and I enjoyed that one. That was fun. So that's another one in the bank though, another race ticked off, and now we can head to the final race of the video. We're heading to Tokyo Expressway, and just like I did for Le Mans in the previous episode, I actually just re-recorded this one with live commentary. So without further ado, let's get into it. The World Touring Car 800 at Tokyo Expressway. Here we go then, and no weather on the radar immediately, which is good. And we'll hopefully be able to get some moves done early in this race before that can come into play. Put it down to fuel map 6 to hopefully be able to get a one stop out of this race. There's so much time in a straight line here. This main straight is monstrously long, so you know there's no avoiding burning fuel along there, even in map 6. But hopefully, you know, it's worked for us in the previous races running map 6. Map 6 has just about got us to the pit window every time. So yeah, that should be a solid plan for now. But we are struggling for pace at the start of this one, and we now start to catch up as the whole group of cars ahead begin to battle away. This is going to work out very well for us as we're massively gaining on this lot. And we'll make the move down the inside. Oh, bounce off the wall. That's not quite what I had in mind, but it worked, and we gained those few spots now. But we're now closing in to the group ahead, another group of cars all fighting away, and we'll see if we can get a nice run onto the straight behind these three. And oh, a bit of a slide. Also note, these days I do not use traction control, so the car's a little bit more on edge than what it has been in the past, but it should be fine. We should be able to handle it. That's very close to the pit wall. Goodness me, that could have been an absolutely massive crash, but just found a space to slot into in time as we're trying to make the move to the left along the straight. But yeah, we almost found ourselves head on into the pit wall. We got away with it. Now we're closing into the Corvette. As we make a bit of contact, we make the move around the outside through the tunnel. That's a job done ahead of the Corvette. And we've got another side-by-side battle going on in front of us. That's going to allow us to close up to these two very, very quickly indeed. And that's one down the inside a little bit deep, but we get the move done. That was on the limit, and we're just gonna bide our time here, and we will be able to get this other place very shortly. Okay, they're taking a weird line through there. That kind of put me off, but anyway, we'll push on from that. Thankfully, damage is not enabled in this race. I thought it was, but I think it's just the longer races that we'll get to in the next episode or two that have the damage enabled. So here we go then, out of the final corner, and that is finally the move. And we've made massive progress early in this race, considering we're on the hardest difficulty. We're all the way up into P8 now, so it's been a great start for us. We've caught up now to P7, the GTR running in 7th place at the moment. Let's see if we can make the move. Not quite sure where to do it at this point. Now we'll make the move down the inside, and that's job done. Up into P7. Okay, let's not talk about that. Oh, we've got rain coming from the north, and it looks quite significant, so I'm actually going to box now for a new set of tyres. We'll go on to the intermediates, and hope that this is the right call. So the new tyres are on. We only completed 3 laps of this race, so despite my efforts in saving fuel, this is going to be a 2-stop thanks to the weather, and we'll see how this goes. But there's a fair amount of rain coming, and I almost think we could have switched on to the full wets. I'm hoping it gets a move on and arrives here very soon. We may have jumped a lap early, or we may not have, but it's on top of us now basically, so it won't be too long before these intermediate tyres become a very good decision. Hopefully we didn't jump a lap early, and we can gain some advantage out of this decision. Actually, considering we're on the intermediate tyres, actually, okay, now that I say that, we understeer massively into the wall, but through that sector they actually felt alright. But yeah, we definitely jumped a lap early. We're deep into the rain cloud now, and the racing line is still dry. Where is the rain falling? The indicator in the bottom left says that the track is wet, but I don't know. There we go. Now we can see the spray coming up from the car in front, so we can see the full demonstration of the wet surface there, but it took a while for it to get to that stage. But anyway, that's put us 43 seconds behind the lead. I didn't actually see how far behind we were before the pit stops, but anyway, the leader did not come in, so that means that those who did may have put more slick tyres on. Interestingly, we'll see how it plays out, but for the moment, I think we still may have made the right call, and the AI may have had a little whoopsie with their strategy. That's a little bit of contact with the Toyota there, but we'll see if we can make the move now to the left-hand side, and that's job done. Up another position. We are absolutely flying versus, I assume those two must be on the slicks, which means, if we're gaining this kind of time versus the race leader, that will be absolutely fantastic. Hopefully though, we'll be able to make the move in a straight line to take that position back, or just be late on the brakes here might even be enough, and that with the inside line has allowed us to regain that position briefly. We had an absolute mess on the exit though, so things haven't worked out too well for us, but hopefully with the straight line speed and a bit of slipstream, we should be able to get this move done once again, as the rain has now ended and the leaders are only now coming in for the slick tyres. So that's done us a massive favour and put us all the way up into 3rd position. So yeah, we just need to keep pushing and go for that race lead. We're not too far away from it now. Pitting definitely was the right call to get onto these tyres. The race leaders can get to the end from here, but they'll be going onto the wrong compound, as we did get back past. And that, I believe, in front of us is the race leader. So how do we play it from here? When at some point we'll need to stop again. The thing is, this track is really tough when it's drying to get back onto those dry compound tires. So I don't know what the best choice is here. There's just a cloud coming, no rain in it. Race leader's not going into pit lane, so I'll stay out as well. Alright, it's time to pit. Tyres. I'll go onto the racing softs and just try my best to hold on and not go off the racing line. It's really the only chance we've got. Fueled up to the end now. Let's go for it. See what we can do. I'm hoping that the undercut can work for us. We're going to drive mostly carefully and on the conservative side to make sure we do not touch the wet lines. never mind. Well, there goes second position, and with it, probably our chance of winning this race, because we are, that is a car we are genuinely fighting for position with. Oh, we had an alright run through there. It's hard to both be conservative and make sure we don't make mistakes, as well as pushing, because we need to make this undercut work. It's our only chance. But with that spin earlier, that I didn't really comment on, it's going to be tough. But anyway, we've had a good run through there. Now we'll make the move back up into second position. So it's not over yet. There'll be 2 laps to go at the end of this one. The leader has already left pit lane. That is not good news for me. We lost 6 seconds doing that. Going up to map 1, we don't have enough fuel to go map 1 to the end, but at least I can do it along the straight to gain some extra time. It really does benefit our top speed. We're still a long way behind the leader. I'll see if I can catch up. Oh, and look at this. We gained so much time on the straight there. We may have an opportunity here. Oh, contact. Come on. Don't make me do this race again. Oh, that's a little bit deep. Just touched a bit of the wet stuff there. We got away with it though. Come on. Oh, struggling through there. Our boys had trouble with these couple of corners. Oh, bounce off the wall. Alright. This might be a drag race to the finish line, because we're not close enough to do anything here at the final corner of the circuit. Oh no, that's not good. Alright, into map 1. This is all we've got. We struggled through the last sector. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I don't think it is. I think we're too far back. Oh, we're out of fuel. That could have been close otherwise. Damn it. Still 120,000 for that. Well, I was going to do that race again, but I actually ran out of time. So, yeah, here is the clip of when I won this race for the first time, back in November last year. And yeah, that of course wasn't done with live commentary, and it was on a much easier difficulty. Presumably, the live commentary race was on hard. That I'm guessing was on easy, given our margin of victory. But anyway, regardless, the race is done. So I don't need to really bother doing it again, and instead we can move on to this one, this race, this extra menu, the Abarth menu. We get a 6-star roulette ticket as a reward for collecting the 3 Abarths. So yeah, let's see what we can learn about these cars. There is our 6-star roulette ticket. Collection, Abarth. These 3 cars are made by Abarth, an Italian brand easily identified by its distinctive scorpion logo. It's a really wonderful collection, with each car a classic in its own right. Abarth was founded by Carlo Abarth, an engineer who got his teeth on racing motorcycles and building race cars. In 1949, he channeled his talents into founding his own company, Abarth & C. The famous scorpion emblem is actually a reference to the zodiac sign for his birth month, November. In addition to building fast and formidable cars, Abarth is considered the official tuning company for Fiat, its fellow Italian manufacturer. Indeed, An Abarth-tuned engine, muffler, or suspension can transform any Fiat into a genuine sports car. People even go as far as to refer to their crack engineering as Abarth magic. This iconic Fiat Abarth 595 made history when it debuted in the 1960s. The upgrade made to the Abarth 500 displacement is referenced in its 595 model name. Flash forward to the 1970s when Fiat absorbed Abarth. The first notable Abarth released by the consolidated company was this Autobahn GA112. Thanks to Abarth's uniquely magic tuning, it offers a most thrilling ride. Later, in 1997, when Fiat established its own motorsport division, Abarth ceased to exist for a time. Thankfully, 2007 witnessed the return of the Abarth name on Fiat road cars. A modern take on a legacy car, this Abarth 500 from 2008 proved to be incredibly popular. The Abarth brand has a storied history, having left its mark on several iconic cars of the race and rally worlds. Really, I can't wait for you to encounter them all. Each is bound to offer an incredible experience. Oh, goodness me. Back to normal. I sound a bit like a horse then. But anyway, we have 2 roulette tickets to spin. We have a 4-star ticket. So we're going to start with that. That was from the daily mileage. And we get a $500,000 payout from this one. That is massive for a 4-star ticket. I'm used to getting 10,000, 30,000. Big 500. There was a million if it just went around one item further, but I'm not going to complain. Let's check out the 6-star ticket then. No cash prizes on offer this time. They are all different upgrades to cars, and the one we get is going to be a Stroke Up S for the Honda NSX Type R 2002. Not the worst, not the best, but it's certainly not worth $500,000. But anyway, that is all for this one, so I'll say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give some feedback in the comments, it's always very helpful. Other than that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.